Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another podcast from Aurum Consultants Limited. We had taken a short break last weekend, but we are back today. We are very excited to be able to reach you today as we continue our series of podcasts in relation to work and risk, employment issues, and risk matters. Today, I'm very excited. My name is Anthony Kuria. Before I forget, my name is Anthony Kuria. I'm, uh, I'm your host today. And as I've said before, I am a partner at Aurum Consultants Limited. And today, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be having Mr. Kenji Kirimi. He's normally at the backstage, but today he has come at the front stage. We are very excited to have him live and direct with us today. And Kenji is the chief executive at Power Connect. And I'll let him introduce himself a bit more. And also, I'm very excited to have my old friend, my dear friend, Augustus Kioko Ndeleva. Let me start with Kenji. Probably you could introduce yourself before we continue. Yes.
Yeah, so my name is Kenji Kiremi. I run an outfit. These days you don't even say company. I run an outfit called Power Connect. We are we are in the digital marketing space, but our key focus is on conversational commerce. So yes, today I'm excited to be here with my good friends, and we'll be talking about working from home. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you, Kenji. Augustus,
Yes,
tell us,
Tony.
who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, has just been rightly introduced by Anthony. I'm Augustus Kioko. I'm a combination of many things, basically. Like my background initially was human resource, and along the line, I developed. Of course, I was trained in HR by one of the leading and the authoritative Institute of Human Resource Management of Kenya. And from there, I developed an interest in risk. And this one, I undertook it at the College of Insurance. And I immediately, because even HR as I was practicing, I was practicing in the insurance industry. So for the last 10 years, also, I've been playing in the insurance industry as a risk. For those who know, insurance is one of the mechanisms of risk transfer. So it rightfully plays in the risk management industry. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a very good introduction. You're both in risk and in HR. And,
yes.
As Aurum consultants, we offer risk and HR advisory, and it's that you are here with us today. Now,
yes.
Our topic is something that is very relevant to not just Kenyans, but people across the world, the issue of working from home. And our topic today is the effectiveness of working from home. I'm sure gentlemen, will agree with me that this is something that this is something that is so real for most people who are in the workspace. I guess because of what has happened across the world, the issue of the COVID-19 pandemic. But now it brings certain questions that yes, companies have asked people to disperse from the confined office space to go and work from home. It raises a number of questions, which I'm hoping we would be able to tackle today. I'm looking forward to our listeners. Send your comments, send your views. We will love to hear from you, even as we continue with this topic. Now, the first question that I think, and gentlemen, from your perspectives as risk experts, as entrepreneurs, I'm sure you have a lot to tell us. But the first aspect I would like to talk about is how work-friendly is the home environment? You have shifted from the office setting, like I have, I shifted from the office setting when I realized it does not pay to have an office. I came now, created a workspace, decided to work from home. But I would like to hear from you. First of all, from Kenji. From your perspective, how work-friendly do you think a home environment would be to enable you execute your business effectively?
So that's a good question. So just to give it some basis, it's like we're all learning this thing called working from home. So over time, I've created an conducive environment, and I'm still improving on it. So I wouldn't tell you that I have a very conducive environment for work right now, because I'll tell you, anytime you'd see even my child just pop in and start touching the screen. But I've tried to create some boundaries so that the environment is conducive for work. Now, when we started, once we hit the lockdown, I remember I hit some low points because I couldn't understand how I'm not going to an office. And my days were very confused, because I'd wake up, I don't have a station. So I'd work like remotely from the house. I'd work on a couch, I'd work off my bed, off another seat in the dining room. And I found that just as my workplace, it reflected on my work. It was all over the place. So I started to look for some stability. And it started by having first a conversation with my housemates, my wife, and my children. And I started telling them, you guys, you have to understand that, look, now this is now my workplace. And I took a room. In fact, this is a corner in my room. I just decided now, because we have little children and I want them to feel free to just to be around the house, I decided to just take a private space. And then I started now to create boundaries. I don't even lock my room. I just tell them, look, when I'm in and it's between this hour, Papa is working. So because I need to train them to understand rules rather than to enforce, start to create a lot of let me just say, you it's like you're a marshal. Now you're trying to create very many boundaries in the house. No, I just give them tell them what I'm trying to do and the laws. So I have tried to cope with this new thing, and I'm still learning. Let me put it that way. I'm still learning. Yeah.
US is a very realistic, very honest, issue with initial confusion. All this and all that. And then now being forced to create a structure of sorts. That's a very good answer. I mean, Kenji, I like the way you put it. I mean, it's real. Most people who are working from home experience what you're going through. Augustus, from your perspective, what do you think about the work friendliness of the home environment?
Yeah, as KG has rightly put it, let me just give an overview or a background of, I think, because we are here to talk about effectiveness.
Yes.
So in my discussion and in my response, I will seek to give a response around the effectiveness of working from home. Noting that effectiveness means the degree to which something is successful in producing a desired result or success. And I think I had mentioned earlier before offline that as we were discussing that before the COVID-19 pandemic, working from home was just a buzzword, was just something very strange to many. And it was left only to the people in the tech industry that were expected to be working from home and all that. But when the COVID-19 hit, I remember in the workplace, when the first case was mentioned in Kenya, it wasn't a reality yet that we can have a situation whereby we cannot come to the office. And therefore, we sat down and planned and had a pandemic crisis management in place, just in case. But at that point, it was just, it wasn't a reality. It wasn't hitting us that this can be reality and can be your next, your next normal. So we put up together and all that. And when the cases and the numbers became to surge, and of course, at some point we were affected, and we had to completely shut down working from the office and going home. So there was no much preparation, in our homes.
Yes.
Like Kenji would have a meeting with his, with his mates in the house and plan and prepare for them. So for us, it hit us like a ton of bricks, just like, this is it. We cannot work from the office from tomorrow. We have to work from home. And therefore, we are to navigate through the crisis. We are to navigate through the newness, the newness of things. The family had to adjust very fast, that this is the kids, just to realize that dad is not going to work today. But dad is working from home. For them, they understand when you're in the house, you are not working today. But when you go out, they think you are working. Now they know you are working. So it was also something that they had to adjust very fast. There was a lot of friendliness, of the environment, in quotes. You are switching off on your laptop. Your kids have to come there. They want to do it with you. They don't understand what you are doing. Everyone in the house thinks you are just holiday. People think you are just on holiday. So when the tasks are being distributed for the house, they still want to count you in. But hey, you have to remind them, I'm working from home from this day up to this day. So we had to give a schedule of because we had a schedule from the office. We'll be working 1 week home, 1 week we resume back to the office. So there are all manner of distractions. And of course, wanting to spend much time with your duvet in the morning, where you are used to waking up at 5:30, and now you have to start work at 8. So sometimes you say, hey, let me wake up at 7:50, and the alarm goes on. And you still want to befriend your duvet for, more minutes or more seconds or more hours and all that. So it's not been easy. It's also, those are the unfriendliness of just adjusting to work from home. But as Kenji said, with time it has peaked. With time, everyone and every stakeholder has come to understand the new normal and working from home, from being a foreign jargon to what we are living every day. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. That is a very explicit. Issues of transition from you're working from the office, and for you it was like pop, sudden. Go from home. Now you've got to adjust yourself. Your family has to adjust very quickly. Your targets are still waiting for you. Your workload is still expected. Your manager still expects you to deliver. Your customers still expect you to deliver. Your workmates are thinking, Augustus, please, our cooperation needs to be still at top notch. Those have been challenges. Which actually brings me out to the second point, which I wanted us to discuss. For both employers like Kenji and myself and others, and even you, Augustus, and any other people, the second question that comes in, if I'm working from home, do I have the adequate technology to do so? For example, do I have the tools to work with? For example, bandwidth. When Augustus, your boss decided you to work from home, did he consider that you need Wi-Fi or some form of bandwidth to work with? Did he think that you have a computer? Did they give you a computer to go and work with? Or were you expected to have one? App for connectivity, were they available and secured? Kenji, yes, from your perspective, when you decided to work from, I know you are a digital geek, so the necessary tools to work probably weren't a big issue. But I would like to hear, Phil, how did that shift work for you in terms of technology?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Tony, the thing is, the biggest shift is it's an organizational cultural shift and then it's also an individual mindset shift. So the resources back up the culture that you're setting. Now, it's funny how, yes, we're a digital company, but even when we had an office, there's some resources that we used to use, and of course, and some incentives, even like like the kawaida tea, coffee, things like that, having lunch and that. Now people don't have that, right? And now you're working from home. Okay, they're using their resources, they're using their computers, their internet, they're using all those resources that you used to supply for them in the office. Now the shift hasn't for us, especially the first 2-3 months, was the cultural change, and then that's what backed up the resources in terms of, do we look for collaborative tools to be able to work? How do our work hours look like? What resources can we add on to enforce what we're trying to do? So the at first, not to shift the question, but mental health was a big concern. So our shift was on the well-being of the people.
Yes.
And then once we started now stabilizing the well-being of the individuals, then now we started to look at the tools that we need for collaboration. Because right now I'm working from home, I need first security of our intellectual property, our data, everything that we give employees. So there are certain tools we had to start subscribing to. So our budgets had to shift. We stopped using money on office supplies and all that. We started taking our resources to online subscription tools that enhance security of our data, and then also collaborative tools like Asana, where we are able to do project management remotely. Everyone is tasked, and then we can follow through and make sure that we deliver on the client's tasks. And then we also needed backup tools, cloud solutions, because right now you do not want to be caught off guard where your data and all the resources of your organization are misused by your employees. So we had to get into cloud security services that can help us also back that up. So the resources technologically have shifted with the way the culture of the organization has moved. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Kenji, you've hit the several topics I wanted to discuss. You've hit each one. That's a wonderful answer. To any of our listeners out there, Kenji has hit several points that are very pertinent to anyone running a business, anyone who has his own or her own business and has been forced to shift both themselves and their staff from working in an office setting. You've touched on issues to do with company culture, issues to do with employee wellness, issues to do with security and all that. That's a wonderful answer, KG. And to anyone listening, if you have questions, please post them. We would like to see your comments. Some of these things are awesome. Kenji has really hit a few buttons there. Thank you, Isendi. Thank you for following us. Augustus, from your perspective, adequate technology, how did you handle it from your end?
Yeah, unlike Kenji, who is a business owner, and I had all the liberty, to make decisions very fast. For myself and those who are employed, we have to operate within the capabilities and within the parameters of the organization that we are working for. But most importantly, because if you require people to work from home, you have to sit and decide what technological capabilities do you have to empower them with, because you are just transferring the work from office, brick and mortar in the office, people where to have in your where you are domiciled, to people working at the comfort of their home. So of course there is issue of security, the technological capability. You talking of the data of the organization being out there. The organization had to make sure that there is enough protection, in terms of the data. Of course, the resources that are required in terms of we had to acquire laptops for of course, we had to segregate our workforce into what we call critical functions. You know, there are functions that cannot add to continue, whether comes rain or sunshine. There are those critical functions. So those are the people that, of course, we equip first, and we equipped first, so that the other lot can come in later. You can decide now what do you do with the rest of the workforce. So planning is very key, and planning was very key in ensuring that the resources that are needed are employed. People will identify resources. We need laptop, we need Wi-Fi. You know, how are people going to, that involves cost, you know, in terms of bundles and all that. Then you need to, the employees, the staff, they still need to stay engaged, just like in the office, in the physical office. They are engaged with their supervisors. You know, unfortunately, Anthony, in Kenya, we still are, when we think of management, management and boss, management and boss are synonymous. In that, the Kenyan worker is trained and expected to work under strict coordination, meaning that they can only perform when confronted with a, you know, carrot and stick mechanism, where you talk about, if you don't do this, there's firing, or if you do this, there's salary increase and bonus. So that culture, as Kenji put it, is still there in the work environment, and therefore it is very important to ensure how do you get feedback when people are working out there. You know, there are guys who will tell you, in our estate, we don't have electricity for the whole week. How do you, you know, and you are not there to tell whether there was electricity or not. You know, of course, we had to set the goals, you know, the goals you have to achieve within a certain time frame, you know, taking cognizance of things that can happen, especially in estates. Power goes off, unlike in town. Yesterday, I think the day before yesterday, I was working at home. Power went off from 9 to 4, you know. So, and of course, so there are resources you have to employ it. You have to think about, you provide laptop, you provide Wi-Fi, you agree on goals, you agree on reporting, how people are going to report back to their supervisors to ensure that productivity is not affected. And then the engagement, because in the office, like, you know, when you're in the office, you see your friend, you engage physically, face to face. That has a bearing on the culture of the organization. And once people are away, you know, you can't see each face to face. We have only to interact online. You know, it's not the same. So the culture, the way people bond and relate is also affected. So we've also been having, you know, WhatsApp forums for departments where people can engage in the morning, say hi to each other. You know, just find out how is as Anthony, Ama Kenji, Ama wherever, Sammy, have they woken up? How are they doing today? So that is also a tool for engagement, just to staff feeling, and with the same feeling, almost not the same, almost like the way they can feel in the office.
Wow. Augustus, there you have hit a number of points that, due to the fact that, you know, one of the things that we have to appreciate, and I think most people now are appreciating, that working from an office setting has a way of creating a company culture. You know, when people meet at a place where they're taking coffee, or when you walk around and meet a buddy and then you start having a conversation about a client, some issues that happened, or when 2 or 3 people decide, you know what, it's lunchtime, let's go at a certain kiosk, let's go together. You know, that is what constitutes company culture. And now, Augustus, I like the way you've put it, that in order to keep that company culture going, say for Bauer Connect or for Aurum Consultants, the idea of creating a WhatsApp group where people can interact, send messages back and forth, handle issues here and there, send jokes to one another. That is, yes, we don't have the physical connection that we used to have, but at least through such connections, through such technological applications like WhatsApp, we still maintain a modicum of the company culture that we are talking about. Now, I want to move to the next issue concerning effectiveness of working from home. And it's a big elephant in the room, and it's called working hours. Now, it's a big elephant
Yeah.
because I'll tell you my experience. Before I ask your opinions, let me give you my experience. One thing I've realized that when I'm working from home, working hours are very fluid. The last few weeks, there's something that I've been working on with, actually with Kenji. And I realized that since my desk is not very far from my bed, sometimes I would wake up, run, sit down, open my desktop, my laptop, start working. That's probably at around 6:45. Breakfast is well, I'm seated here. And sometimes I would find myself working from 6:45 in the morning until 8 at night. So how many hours? I don't know, 8, 10, 12 hours straight. And when you think about it, as much as it's exciting, it's not sustainable. So let me go to you, Kenji. What do you think from your experience and you being also an employer? How do you handle these matters of working hours now that you've been forced to work from home for yourself and for your employees?
Yeah. So, we've always had that conversation about work-life balance. Even before we started working from home, some people will say it's a myth, but what I'm trying to understand is that it's an everyday conscious practice, because you will never get it right and stay there. You always have to keep checking and having accountability. Let me say, people, it could be your wife, it could be
Yes.
your colleague, to
Yes.
just ensure that you are sticking through the balance of your social life, your family life, and also your work life. So there's one thing that I'm realizing. So as an employer, of course, it's important. So leadership is key in this time of crisis. Leadership is everything, because they watch. It's monkey see, monkey do. It is not about what you tell them. It's
Yes.
about how disciplined do you exemplify your life, and then your followers or your employees or your teammates will replicate that. Now, I'm talking as an employer. So I've come to see, you can tell people, okay, so work hours are between 9 and 5. I mean, they're working from home. How can you monitor that? You can't monitor that. But we've created a system of accountability and a system where it's result driven. The thing is, we are, now the good thing is that we have, I work mostly with millennials. And so for them, they are not very stuck onto their ways. They're easily, they're malleable. You can shape some of the ways they do things. But of course, they're also very radical people. So there's you have to balance their temperament. So the thing is, in as much as we give the flexibility for working, like we've had a conference this week and we've been doing late nights till midnight. I give people first prior notice that, hey guys, this event is coming. Please readjust your schedules. We'll be working later at night, and our day shall begin midday. You see, when you prepare people already, and that's why I like what Augustus was saying, planning. When you plan and you prepare people in advance, then they can plan their days and they don't feel strained. The issue is when you don't tell people beforehand and you just keep, you're just bringing in work after work, you guys need to deliver on this. People get tired and they burn out. Now, so the work-life balance from an employer's point of view is setting the structure, planning, accountability, and result-driven. As an individual, let me tell you, it is you to have the discipline. The discipline of a consultant is very different from the discipline of an employee. And that's a different mindset. If you have an employee mindset, you will not survive in this work from home days,
Yes.
because no one is watching over over your neck to make sure that you're delivering. Me, I just want to see results. Whether you're going to do it at night, whether you wake up 5 in the morning, provided you put in the results, I don't care about the hours. And that's the discipline people should come. But I'd advise from a personal standpoint, I try as much as possible to be disciplined with my time. I still wake up at 5:30 and I do my devotion and I do my jog and I sit down on my desk. That's how my people know, my family know, hey, this guy has gotten into work, because he enters the station at 7:30. Our meetings start at 7:30. Our meetings don't start. We do not have meetings past 9. 9 is work time. All our meetings is 7:30 to 9. So for us, and that's a culture. And why we're doing that is because we also we want to instill some level of discipline through the systems. Yeah.
Okay.
Then it's upon us now to pick on it. So that's my experience. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, dude, I've learned a few things there. A few things, a few pointers there. From you, Augustus, you being now the other side, you are an employee in an organization. How do you handle working from home issues to do with working hours?
Yeah, I think as there's a classical theory of management. XY. Is it XY? I remember in my school time as a business student, and they used to say, as human beings, us as employees, would be very happy not to work but to get paid. As in, would be happy to wake up, just waste time and just get paid, and that is our joy. And therefore, it requires a disciplined employee. One of the things we've done is we've not told, and we've not been just trying to find out, is so and so online, am I working? But what we have seen in our team, and in the team that I supervise, in the team that I'm also in, we've one of the things is we have a very highly disciplined team. In that, sometimes you wake up. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I find someone was doing emails at 11 p.m. at night. Yeah, maybe this person was not very visible during the day, but you can see there's a level of discipline. And of course, in organization, when some of us who are in management and all that, we are expected to uphold high levels of discipline, such that the reason why you are in that position, as a manager supervisor, is because they know they don't need to supervise you to do what you are supposed to do. So for me, because I'm sitting in management and all that, and in supervisory, my day starts just the same hours I start in the office, and maybe slightly early, because I don't have to travel. I don't have to, to wake up to beat the jam and all that. So my day starts very early, maybe by 7 or latest 7:20. At that time I've showered, I've dressed well for the, dressed well. Not obviously in a suit and tie, but in a presentable way, like the way I am now. Just because you are still working, and it is still counted that you are still working, and you should uphold the same professionalism you hold in an office, physical location, and just from home. But we've just like Kenji said, the best way to supervise, because leadership is very key, so that people also think, people know that you trust them. You don't want to follow them every hour and they think you do not trust us. But you also want to give them the benefit of doubt, and also that we trust you to do the right thing. So we do that through systems, systems of accountability, whereby you are in a system, you can't argue with anything. We agreed these are the goals. They need to be met by the end of the week, or by the end of the day. These are the daily tasks that we expect everyone to. So we have a way of logging in daily tasks, and we have a way of verifying, and we have a way of logging weekly, task and all that, and a way of verifying also. So in that, you just interact with the report at supervisory. You are not interacting by looking whether Kenji is working, or Tony is working at this time, or why were you offline at this time? Because you wake up and find this guy is very active at night. At 11 p.m. he's still sending emails. At 5:30 in the morning he still sends emails, and he's still working. So you don't have a problem with that. So I think just come up with goals, just come up with what is deliverable within a certain time frame, and then you'll be checking the quality of also what they are doing and all that. And then you will have less stress in managing and trying to follow people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are deep points. You know, the other day, Kenji, and I was surprised. I was reading through some of these topics to do with working from home, and I was shocked that in the United States there has been rumblings of discontent among the workforce because some companies are creating tracking tools where employers are, online. They're able to tell very quickly when you're working on your workstation and when you're bumming. You're not quite. And that also brings other issues to do with intrusion into your space and all that. And therefore, as Augustus, you've put it, the issue of accountability, having a system where output is measurable and targets are met, both as a business, Kenji, and for you, Augustus, and for me, as a company, as employees, we are able to have something that shows clearly this is the output that was required of you. Have you met it? Yes or no? These are the targets that were required of you. Have you met them? So if you're able to manage yourself and be able to, to produce, then your working hours can be flexible. Now, I want to shift this briefly, Augustus, for you in particular, because you're a risk expert.
Yes.
This is something we have discussed a few times before in this podcast. What are the risks that, apart from obviously the issues to do with technology theft and all that, from a HR perspective, what are the risks that come with letting your employees work from home, yet they're still contractually working for Aurum consultants, for Bauer, for the company you work for now? How does your the WIBA cover that covers your employment cover, how flexible is it in terms of covering you while you're still working from home? Are there contingency measures that business can take so that they can reduce the exposure that their staff are now working from home rather than working in an office setting?
Yeah, in the world of risk, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think in the world of risk, risk is not bad. When we mention and you hear the word risk, in our minds it clicks, it's a bad thing. But risk also presents an opportunity, presents an opportunity for the business. Yes. So WIBA, the insurance, I said, in risk management is one of the tools of risk transfer, whereby if you are not, the reason you insure is because you are not able to handle that risk on your own. So in most cases, WIBA, and WIBA is an insurance for employees to ensure their safety and protection, and while at the workplace. But do you know also WIBA, even leave alone working from home, even when you are working from the office, WIBA covers you and covers your employees when they are working away, like marketers who have to go from place to place. They are not in the office, physical setup, office from 8 to 5, but sometimes they are out for duties, So they are covered because there are risks that can happen to them while outside. When you are sent by your employee or by your employer on business trip, you are also covered under WIBA because you are at work. It's an occupational coverage and all that. So the same risk that would occur, to you, the same risk that will occur to you when you are actually working from office but on a business trip are the same exposures, WIBA will take care of you when you are working from home. Of course, it's a challenge because when you are in the workplace, when you are in the physical workplace, your employer has a responsibility to mitigate a lot of risks. So now with the new norm of working from home, it's also a challenge on the other side, on the part of the employer, that is not in control of what you do out there, and is not in control of the risk you expose yourself there. Yes, you are covered, but now even at your home, when you are working from home, when you get injured, because unless you are on leave, unless it is specifically indicated you are on leave on this particular day and this day, and if you get injured during that time, another coverage takes over, like personal accident. But the same risk, because the challenge with employers is to be able to take care of to be in charge of your safety while you are working from home. Some of the people you don't know, we stay in different estates and we stay in different places with different risks every day. But it's very easy when you are reporting to the office every day, morning to 5, that the employer is able to define the safety in that working environment. But at home, he loses control of that, but you are still covered.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Augustus. Thank you. That is very clear. An issue to do with flexibility and taking cognizance of the fact that risk is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just an issue of management and transfer where you can. I appreciate the comments that are coming up. I can see they are coming thick and fast. Kituku Jr., you've asked something here. Probably I'll ask Kenji to give us his perspective. In terms of human resource management, is the contract of an employee customized to suit the new working formula? I presume what Kituku is asking, can you shift, adjust or customize the contract that you have hired somebody to suit the new idea of working from home and working from. What do you think, Kenji, from what you've gone through as a businessman?
Right. I wish Zipporah was here. This is a perfect question for a HR expert. So Kituku, I'll try answer from my understanding. But the one thing that I know is also a lot of changes are happening in the HR field in terms of trying to incorporate this working from home new agreements or terms so that it covers and it's able to favor you as an employee. However, I think it also goes down to an institution. There's some institutions that, of course, are slower to enact these new policies. And I'd also like to hear it from Augustus and just from him working for a large organization. How are these policies coming in effect? But I'll tell you, see, for us, we're not. We're a young business. We don't have too many employees. We're only 7. So for us, we've incorporated this first by using. We don't first have permanent and pensionable contracts. That one we agreed as the directorship that we're going to be having consultancy kind of contracts. Why? Because of the times we're living in. We're living in a shared economy. It's a gig economy where it's very hard to lock one man's talent in one organization right now, and especially for those that are coming up. I know for the older birds in the organization, they have formed some system of routine and structure and stability, and you wouldn't want to interrupt that. But for the new workforce that is coming in, we are trying to give them as much flexibility because of also all the possibilities that have come up in the world. So we only and for us, as an employer, it de-risks our business you know, by moving in terms of more of consultancy contracts. Now, for us, we have incorporated already in those consultancy contracts, there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to working from home. It's all about deliverables. So, Kituku, I think that's my opinion and that's my point. Yeah.
That's a very good Kenji, because you basically brought us now to the very modern, very real now, where most companies are actually moving in that direction, especially in the new high-tech industries, where even in the old economy, if you could call it, I mean, rarely are you getting permanent and pensionable unless now you go into government. Now, for government, there's still performance-related relations. Augustus, very quickly, what do you think? From your background in HR, do you think this kind of customization can work?
Yeah, I think, let me say first, I think it depends from organization to organization, but basically and generally, what we are seeing, okay, right now, the contracts of employment we have are, mostly, the old contracts, the copy and paste, the same of working, of a normal office working environment. On a light note, I think when pandemic started and people were encouraged to work from home, there was someone who said, can the employers pay the rent? Can we share the rent? And so, since I'm using my house,
very valid.
to deliver for the office. And then someone answered also on a light note that, in your payslip, you have something called house allowance. So all these, all these were, I think they were quests just from people to know what really should happen, and I can tell you most of the that is an issue that the employers are grappling with, and mostly most organizations are responding. The way they are responding is by making contracts which are geared to be performance based in terms of qualitative, because it's, if you are working far from the office, if you are working from home and all that, we have to agree what needs to be delivered within this time frame and all that, and we have the terms of engagement are going to change to more performance based rather than qualitative. In the office, it can be neither here nor there, and especially for people in operations where it just processes and all that. But if what we are going to see and experience going forward is more performance-based contracts, whereby we agree what is deliverable and what is achievable within a period of time, as opposed to so we are also going to see flexibility in our contracts, allowing flexibility that people can work from home. Of course, there is a lot of the reason the organization are going to go that way is because organizations, investors have also realized, we need few people, we need less working space. Most of these buildings you are seeing in town, the skyscrapers. In 10 years, someone asked someone last week, if you are given this house, what will you do? And they were saying they will be happy, they won't work for the rest of their life, they will rent it out. But we are like, who will rent, who will want office space? Yeah. And someone said, I will sell it immediately and invest money somewhere else, because in 10 years' time, you will not see people working from in an office setup. They will be working from home. So a lot of things are going to change. You're going to see new engagement, new terms in the employment contracts, and all that. Yeah.
Wow. Gentlemen, can you imagine 49 minutes have passed?
I know.
And we still feel like we have more.
Yes, we still have a lot. Whatever we had planned to talk about, we have not even finished. But to our listeners, I would like we would like to appreciate the comments you've sent, and please keep sending them. This is a wide topic. We have not even discussed issues to do with employee wellness, issues to do with working relationships, how are they supposed to be handled, issues to do with domestic distractions. Yeah, there you are, the way Kenji was saying, you're working and your daughter comes, somebody sees your cat,
Yeah.
somebody, your cat moving in, your house help trying to clean the house. There are all these issues that are up. And, I was reading an article actually when I was preparing for this podcast yesterday, where the thing that Augustus has just said, issues to do with the commercial real estate space, what's going to happen to it. And some of the proposals were probably convert them to be work, home, work, office, commercial spaces where people can work and live there at the same time. Anyway, I think we'll have to stop there. Time does not. We have even surpassed our time for the podcast. But I thank you, Ndongo Wawangombe. Thank you for that comment. I appreciate that you've been listening to us. I don't know, Kenji, we might need to do this and bring my other partner Zipporah to bring her perspective next weekend. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Augusta, if you're available, we can discuss it also. But thank you very much, our listeners, for the comments, for listening in today. This is a wide topic. This is a topic that, we are at the cutting edge, as it were. We don't know what December will bring. We don't know when this pandemic goes, whether that old normal will return to it or this new norm will be the new permanent norm. But whichever the case, it's an exciting time to be, as a businessman, as an employee, as in whatever. I mean, yes, things have happened. People have lost their jobs. Things have changed dramatically, but there are also great opportunities to be had. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you coming in today. Thank you to our listeners. Thank you for logging in today. Let's be here once more next week. Same time, same place.
Yeah.
We are Aurum Consultants. If you want to, you can follow us on Aurum Consultants on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. Thank you very much for logging in. See you next week.